You're listening to Southern Miss Today on Southern Miss Radio. I'm your Tuesday, Thursday show host, Skylar Angus Barker. We've got a great show coming up with some information about Larman Martin accidentally going to white U.S. Army soil, and Andrew Borelli reporting on the USM Freshman Council. But don't touch that dial because Dr. Andrew Pace will share some things that you don't want to miss. You're listening to Southern Miss Today on Southern Miss Radio.
Sponsorship for Southern Miss Today comes from Mr. Sippy Beverages. Mr. Sippy Beverages provides water, water coolers, and coffee service throughout South Mississippi. Take half of your weight in pounds. That's how many ounces of water you need a day. Mr. Sippy Beverages can help you reach that goal by delivering fresh water to your door. To get more information or to set up a cooler and water delivery, you can call Mr. Sippy Beverages at 601-271-2420, or you can find them online. Sponsorship comes from American Graphics. Located at 8 Commercial Warehouse Drive in Hattiesburg, American Graphics provides custom screen printing and embroidery. They can be reached by phone at 601-602-2277, and the website is goamericangraphics.com. American Graphics, printing at its finest.
Welcome back to Southern Miss Today on Southern Miss Radio. In USM campus news, Southern Miss professor among 5 worldwide awarded $500,000 grant for neurodegenerative disease research. Dr. Vijay Rangakari, professor of chemistry and biochemistry, has been awarded a $500,000 research grant, which is part of a $2.5 million funding initiative supporting innovative research in neurodegenerative diseases. Dr. Rangakari had this to say about receiving the award. I am humbled to receive the 2025 Telepathy Challenge Workshop Award. To be selected as one of the only 5 recipients worldwide for this prestigious recognition that means a great deal to me and my collaborators. We are grateful to the Rainwater Foundation and its partners for recognizing the importance and novelty of our research on hybrid amyloids, a new class of harmful protein structures that may play a key role in neurodegenerative diseases. We are eager to begin this project and uncover insights that could deepen our understanding, not just with tauopathies, but the neurodegenerative disorders more broadly. Southern Miss launches secondary education degree for Gulf Coast. You've heard that right. The University of Southern Mississippi will offer a bachelor's degree in secondary education on the university's Gulf Park campus in Long Beach, Mississippi. To increase the good news, qualified students will receive full scholarships and the opportunity to study and then teach close to home. Dr. Trent Gold, Dean of the College of Education and Human Sciences, has this to say. Southern Miss is committed to strengthening our coastal communities by preparing exceptional educators right here at home. This new secondary education degree gives coastal residents the opportunity to receive top-tier training, serve in local schools, and step directly into careers where they are needed the most. By equipping teachers in the communities they already know and love, we are making a tangible impact on Mississippi's teacher shortage and shaping a stronger future for our state. In Hattiesburg news, Laurel Food Truck Festival moves to Fairgrounds, opens this Saturday. The Laurel Food Truck Festival Fall Edition, making its return on Saturday, September 6th, it will be held from Laurel Fairgrounds, and there will be 26 food trucks from Mississippi and Louisiana. There will also be live music with a kids zone and adult zone for several activities to enjoy. The admission fee is $1 to get onto the grounds. Corbin Hollifield, organizer for the event, has this to say. We decided to move it here because it's just simply outgrew, and we needed a bigger space, and Laurel Fairgrounds was the best place to put it. The whole point of it is, it brings the community together. It's a great community event that's for all families, not just for adults, not just for kids. Hattiesburg Mayor proclaimed September as National Service Dog Month. Mayor Toby Barker has proclaimed that September will be known as National Service Dog Month in the city of Hattiesburg. Sally Morrow, who works with several organizations, which includes Canine Companions, has this to say. They are animals that can go and get something for you, open the door, alert you to an emergency. They also provide emotional support. Anyone who's ever owned a dog knows there's nothing like that unconditional love. In Mississippi news, Brookhaven schools to install weapons detection system. Brookhaven School District announced plans to introduce a weapons detection system into their schools. The Open Gate Weapons Detective System will be placed in every middle school, junior high school, and high school campus in the district. Brookhaven School District Superintendent Dr. Roderick Henderson has this to say. The safety and well-being of our students, staff, and families will always be the top priority of the Brookhaven School District. Each day, parents entrust us with their children, and it is our responsibility to provide an environment where learning can take place without fear or distraction. This decision reflects our district's proactive approach to school safety and our belief that a secure learning environment is the foundation for academic and personal success. By putting these systems in place, we are taking a meaningful step forward in raising the standard of safety for our schools. In national news, Trump suggests sending National Guard troops to New Orleans next. On Wednesday, President Donald Trump suggested that New Orleans could potentially be deploying the National Guard to increase the amount of cities around the nation where he had sent federal law enforcement. City Council President J.P. Morrell has objected to this suggestion, stating the following. Marching troops into New Orleans is an unnecessary show of force, an effort to create a solution to a problem that doesn't exist. We'll be right back with sports and weather after a word from our sponsors.
Sponsorship for Southern Miss Today comes from Mr. Sippy Beverages. Mr. Sippy Beverages provides water, water coolers, and coffee service throughout South Mississippi. Take half of your weight in pounds. That's how many ounces of water you need a day. Mr. Sippy Beverages can help you reach that goal by delivering fresh water to your door. To get more information or to set up a cooler and water delivery, you can call Mr. Sippy Beverages at 601-271-2420, or you can find them online. Sponsorship comes from Furniture Direct, with locations in Hattiesburg, Laurel, and Columbia. Are you looking for a deal? Lots of styles on a good value? You can find them on Facebook at Furniture Direct Hattiesburg for the latest specials and promotions. Or you can shop anytime at FurnitureDirectNow.com. You can see why Furniture Direct is your furniture destination.
Welcome back to Southern Miss Today on Southern Miss Radio. Now on for some sports. Southern Miss Athletics has some announcements. Come out on Sunday to the Southern Miss Soccer Complex to see the Golden Eagles in action versus Jackson State and Louisiana Tech. Admission is free. Skip the line this Saturday and secure your seats now for the highly anticipated matchup as Southern Miss takes on Jackson State on Saturday, September 6, 2025. With a packed house expected, now's the time to lock in your spot and be part of the electric atmosphere. Golden Eagles net 2 in home draw with Jackson State. You've heard that right. Our Golden Eagles have earned their first of the season on Wednesday evening, having a 2-2 draw with Jackson State. Our Golden Eagles also celebrated their first multi-goal performance of 2025, sparking energy from the home crowd. Let's go Eagles. To keep up with all the Golden Eagles sports activities, head on over to southernmiss.com. Now on for your weather. It looks like today we'll have a few clouds, but with a mostly sunny sky and hot weather, with highs in the lower 90s and lows around 70 degrees. For Friday, there's a 10% chance of rain, with the highs in the mid-90s and lows around 70 degrees as well. Saturday is partly cloudy, with highs also in the lower 90s and lows in the upper 60s to 70s. Sunday looks like it'll offer just a tiny break from the heat, with the highs in the upper 80s and lows in the mid 60s. So, on the safe side, keep 90 degrees in your mind when coming to this weekend. Up next, we have Larman Martin accidentally going to the white U.S. Army soil. Check it out.
This is Mississippi Moments, produced by the Center for Oral History and Cultural Heritage at the University of Southern Mississippi and supported by the Mississippi Humanities Council. I'm Bill Ellison. Throughout World War II, U.S. Armed Forces remained segregated along racial lines. Lamont Martin remembers the day he accidentally wandered into a white USO club while stationed in Boston.
I went to Boston one weekend, walking around, window shopping, looking around, and run into another black GI. And he told me where he was from. So we walked around town and we saw signs at USO. So we went in there, but nobody around, didn't see any service, meeting just empty, it's the early part of the day. So there's a piano in there. This guy was a musician, I didn't know it. So he got on that piano. The windows were up, it's kind of warm that day, and that sound was going out into the streets. And man, he played that piano, and people started coming out of the woodwork. And boy, he played there for a while, a good hour. So they started bringing him cold drinks, you know, and they were having a good time. So after about an hour, the hostess there called us off to the side, and she told us that this was a white USO. She said, now they have a black USO service club here in town, but it's on Ruggles Street. So we took off trying to find Ruggles Street, and we found the black USO.
To learn more, subscribe to the Mississippi Moments podcast or visit cohch.org. Mississippi Moments is supported by the Mississippi Humanities Council. The humanities are for everyone.
That was our Mississippi Moments. Coming up, we've got a special guest that you don't want to miss.
Sponsorship for Southern Miss Today comes from Mr. Sippy Beverages. Mr. Sippy Beverages provides water, water coolers, and coffee service throughout South Mississippi. Take half of your weight in pounds. That's how many ounces of water you need a day. Mr. Sippy Beverages can help you reach that goal by delivering fresh water to your door. To get more information or to set up a cooler and water delivery, you can call Mr. Sippy Beverages at 601-271-2420, or you can find them online.
Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic thing. Even though all these years have passed, I still had that longing to have my diploma.
At age 30, Carissa finished her high school diploma.
If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, you can do it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to Southern Miss Today on Southern Miss Radio. Now, please give a warm Golden Eagle welcome to Dr. Andrew Pace. Hey, how are you?
Hey, good to be here. Thanks for having me.
So, first and foremost, for anyone who doesn't know you, can you tell us about yourself?
Yeah, so I'm Dr. Andrew Pace. I am a DPAA Research Partner Fellow in the Dale Center for the Study of War and Society here at Southern Miss. I've been here for about a year and a half, and I'm a historian by training, and I get to work with some great colleagues in the Dale Center and do a lot of interesting research.
And for you, being within these positions, what is that like for you on a day-to-day basis?
So I'm in an interesting position here where I'm a historian, I'm a postdoc here,
Yeah.
But I actually don't have very many teaching opportunities because 90% of my day-to-day job is with the Defense Department.
Yeah.
And so I work, I don't work for the DoD, but I work with the agency called the DPAA,
Wow.
which helps to recover missing military personnel.
Okay, awesome. And with this main event being the Mississippi Book Festival panel, you were actually selected to lead a discussion. Can you tell us about that?
That's right. It was, we'll call it serendipity.
Yeah.
I was in my office, and Dr. Matt Casey, who was the director of the of humanities, came in my office, talked about something totally unrelated, and he started looking at the books on my shelf with titles like Truman and the Bomb or The Most Controversial Decision, and he said, "Andrew, do you know about the atomic bombs?" And I said, "Yeah, I've read a little bit about them." And he said, "Oh, this is great. I gotta call the Mississippi Book Festival." And he got on the phone and said, "You will not believe who I just talked to." And apparently, Ellen Daniels, who's the executive director of the festival,
Yeah.
She had been looking for somebody to lead a panel on the atomic bombs for the book festival. And so she got in touch with me that day, and she said, "We've been looking for you. You're our guy." So I got appointed to moderate this panel. It's going to be great.
All right, absolutely. And is there anybody that you're going to be speaking with at this panel?
So I'm the moderator.
Right.
We're going to have a panel of 3. I'm going to be asking the questions, leading the discussion, and the other 2 panelists are both, I think, very well-known authors.
Yeah.
One of them, his name is Garrett Graff. He's been an editor for Politico magazine. He's contributed to CNN and Wired. He's probably best known, though, as an author. He is sort of a specialist in oral histories. So he wrote a book last year, an oral history of D-Day. And this year he just came out with a new oral history that's called The Devil Reached Toward the Sky, an oral history of the making and unleashing of the atomic bomb. And the other panelist is an author and columnist named Kai Bird, who has written a number of biographies and some history of the atomic bombs, but he's probably most famous for writing a Pulitzer Prize-winning biography of Dr. J. Robert Oppenheimer called American Prometheus. And in fact, the book was made into a little indie film recently called Oppenheimer. You may have heard of it.
Right.
So the Oppenheimer, the Christopher Nolan movie, is based on this book, and Kai Bird was a consultant on the film. So these 2 authors are coming to Mississippi for the book festival, and I'm going to be asking them some questions about their work, and we'll talk about the atomic bomb.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's already, like, learning from history is already a big thing. But personally for you, why do you think that this panel is important?
Well, 2025 is the 80th anniversary of the end of World War II.
Wow.
It's been, 80 years is an entire lifetime. So it's been 80 years since the end of the war, since the atomic bombs, the Battle of the Bulge, Okinawa, a lot of famous events. And I think after all these years, this gives us a great chance to remember and reflect on those events, see what lessons we have learned, and to think about what that means for our society moving forward. In so many ways, we are living, for good or for bad, in the world that World War II created.
Yeah.
So I think this panel will be a good opportunity to talk about the legacies and lessons of the war.
Right. Absolutely. And you mentioned a little bit before about, like, the books that were on your shelf regarding the atomic bomb. But how does this panel relate to your own knowledge and research as a professor?
Yeah, it's funny. I never thought I was going to be an atomic bombs guy. But that's sort of where my research has been pulling me. I'm a historian by training. I'm what you would call a diplomatic historian, so I focus on American history, the role of the United States in the world, and especially on World War II and the Cold War. But more specifically, I specialize in what I would call moral dilemmas in U.S. history, Faustian bargains that people have made, controversies, ethical problems, gray zones, the sort of agonizing decisions that individuals have made, like whether to use the atomic bombs.
Right.
So, and I'm actually working on my own book project, which is about the end of World War II, and so I've been doing a lot of research in this area anyway.
Yeah.
So I feel like this panel's a perfect fit for what I study.
Yeah, absolutely. And you mentioned the Faustian bargains, right? Mm-hmm. For any of our listeners that don't know what that is, what exactly is a Faustian bargain?
So it's a decision with a lot of trade-offs or drawbacks.
Okay.
So for example, the decision to use the atomic bombs led to victory in World War II, but it also comes at a horrific cost. It killed 100,000 to 200,000 Japanese men, women, and children.
Right.
It inaugurated a new age in human history, the atomic age. It's given us nuclear weapons and nuclear energy. And there's been a lot of discussion, not just in scholarly communities, but in American society about whether the atomic bombs were worth the cost and whether living in a world with nuclear weapons has been worth all of the effort and trouble that they've involved.
Right. Absolutely. And who do you think would enjoy this panel?
I think this panel is going to have widespread appeal.
Yeah.
I think anybody who's obviously interested in history or in World War II, veterans, students, anybody who's seen Oppenheimer,
Right.
I think will be interested in this panel. But more broadly, anybody interested in the role of science and technology in our world. There's a lot of talk right now about AI, about the good or bad uses of technology, how we
Right.
should use it. The atomic bombs are part of that discussion about how much the risks and the rewards of science and technology in society. So I think anybody who's interested in those kinds of questions, who's ever been interested in World War II or nuclear physics, there's going to be something here for a lot of different people.
Right, absolutely, and especially with like such a big reach that the movie like Oppenheimer did for our culture, and like having like this exposure to like what it was like during that moment for people that like either weren't there to spectate it or don't know the details of it. This sounds like this panel could like absolutely like branch off into like more of these details that like we know the effects of the atomic bomb, but we don't know like all the lasting impact that occurred,
Sure.
So it's amazing. And I figure for this question that the answer would probably be no, but just to check anyway, is there any prior knowledge that the audience needs to know in order to fully understand this discussion?
Well, I'm presuming that most audience members are going to have some fundamental understanding of World War II.
Yeah.
We were fighting a war against Japan. We were trying to make them say uncle and surrender, and so we decided to use these revolutionary new weapons to force them to surrender. And I think a lot of people know the basic contours of that history, but of course the real story is a lot more detailed, a lot more complicated, and frankly a lot more interesting.
Right.
So, and it's incredibly complicated and controversial. I'm not sure there's been an event in the last 100 years in U.S. history that has spilled more ink than the use of the atomic bombs in World War II. So there's a lot to unpack. There's nuclear physics, there's U.S.-Japanese relations, there's military policy, there's presidential decision-making, there's the timing and process of those decisions. At the same time, I recognize that this isn't a college course. This is a public event, and I think part of my job in this panel is to meet the audience where they are and to elevate their understanding of this history and give them a more detailed and more nuanced and more reflective understanding of what happened. So my hope is that if you have some familiarity with these events, if you're a World War II buff, if you like American history, you're going to love this panel. And if you don't know anything at all, I think you're going to learn something new. I think there's going to be something here for everybody. If you don't know anything, I promise you're going to learn something fascinating.
Right. Absolutely. And just for our listeners, when and where will this panel take place?
This takes place at high noon, very middle of the day on Saturday. This is not this coming Saturday, but the following Saturday at the Mississippi Book Festival. And the event takes place around the Capitol building, but our panel is actually going to be in the Galloway Sanctuary. That's at Galloway Memorial United Methodist Church. So it's right across the street from the state capitol. And our session is scheduled for an hour. So we'll have 45 minutes for discussion with our two panelists, and then we'll open it up for some Q&A from the audience. We've got 15 minutes, but I imagine we're going to have a lot more interest than just that.
Absolutely. And I know that we're running out of time, but is there anything else that you want to share with our listeners?
I would just say that I'm really excited about this conversation. I think Kai Bird and Garrett Graff are going to be really interesting people to talk to. And whether you, and I should also say that I'm biased. There's a lot of other great panels that are going to be taking place, but I would think that this has to be one of the most anticipated panels for the book festival this year. Yeah. But regardless of whether you come or not, I would encourage anybody, faculty, students, families with kids, to come out to the book festival. It's a great cultural experience, and it's a fun time for everyone. and it's really a great celebration of storytelling and writing and books.
Right. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Andrew Pace, for coming on today and providing a voice for our Eagles.
Sure, thanks for having me.
Coming up, we have got Andrew Borelli reporting on the USM Freshman Council. Check it out.
The Southern Miss Student Government Association recently opened applications for the 2025-2026 school year Freshman Council. Designed to introduce Golden Eagle freshmen to SGA, the council also gives freshmen an insight in how things around campus are run. SGA President Leah Johnson says she is an example of what the Freshman Council can produce, and also expands on why students should apply to join this council.
But the Freshman Council is specifically an advocacy board and an avenue for freshmen to advocate for the concerns of freshmen. The reason we're kind of retooling the program is because I'm very aware that the needs of freshmen are different sometimes than the needs of upperclassmen students.
Not only do Freshman Council members learn about the roles of student government, but they also host many events around campus, such as Homecoming and Freshman Fest, a whole week dedicated to Golden Eagle freshmen. President Johnson says the Freshman Council for the 2025 and 2026 school year will be announced by September 19th. For Southern Miss Student Media, I'm Andrew Borelli.
Thanks for listening to Southern Miss Today on Southern Miss Radio. Huge thanks to Cardell Whiting, our audio engineer, and Daniel Page, our video engineer, for keeping this bird flying. Big shout out to our assistant producer, Roselle Monty, and our program director, Adeline Fields, as well as our GM, Dr. Wilbur Martin. Don't forget to follow SM2 Media on social media. I'm your Tuesday Thursday show host, Skylar Angus Barker. Stay Golden Eagles.